MultiBaas is blockchain software that makes it fast, easy, and cost-effective to build on many different EVM blockchains. It sits between your application and the blockchain and provides functionality that you would otherwise have to build from scratch and then maintain. You can use all of it or some parts of it. You can build a front-end app on top of it, a back-end app, or both. MultiBaas includes both a web UI and REST API, and we also offer SDKs for popular languages and plugins for standard development toolchains. To get started with MultiBaas, you can create or manage MultiBaas deployments on console.curvegrid.com, which you can access from the Curvegrid homepage. MultiBaas is single-tenant, and you create one MultiBaas deployment per blockchain network. This is useful for separating development, test, and production environments. In this example, we'll create a deployment on the Sepolia test network. Once the deployment is ready, click the link to log in. When you first log into MultiBaas, you're on the dashboard, which has some helpful links to documentation and shows the usage of this deployment. We'll start with the Contracts menu. Library is where your contract definitions are stored in MultiBaas. These can be added from an address on chain, uploaded manually from source code, or a compiled artifact from SolC, Hardhat, or Forge, or via our Hardhat plugin or Forge library as part of your development toolchain. The on-chain page is for contracts that you deploy or have already been deployed and that you link to within MultiBaas. Let's add our first contract in one shot here by pulling from a well-known address. This will search external sources for the source code, ABI, and bytecode of the contract. Add it to the library and link it in MultiBaas. Now that we have our contract linked, let's try interacting with it. We're going to enable the developer toggle so that we get the inline API and SDK docs. We're also going to use the MultiBaas signer selector to switch our Web3 wallet to the correct network and select a wallet to interact with. This can be one of a browser-based Web3 wallet like MetaMask, a cloud wallet, or a Multi-sig Safe Wallet. We'll explain the latter two in a few moments. We can try calling a read function. Let's retrieve the ERC20 balance of an address. You can see the developer docs update in real time. MultiBaas also has the ability to adjust input and output values using type conversions. These are set at the library level. Among other options, MultiBaas can automatically shift the decimals for both the balance of read function and mint write function. This works for events as well. Let's go back to the linked on-chain contract and try calling the balance of function again. MultiBaas has automatically shifted the decimals for us. Let's try a write function. We'll mint some tokens and first do a dry run to identify any potential issues with the input parameters before we send the transaction to be signed by our wallet. We also have the overview and the events pages as well. Overview shows the status of the linked contract and has output of all read functions with no inputs. Events shows all of the events, also known as logs, emitted by the smart contract and is powered by MultiBaas built-in chain indexer. Event queries are used to aggregate and filter smart contract events. Here we're setting up an event query to compute token holder balances of the ERC20 token contract we linked earlier. Each event query is built up from one or more events. Fields from each event can be displayed, aliased, and aggregated. Here we alias the from and to fields to owner, tokens field to balance, and then subtract the balance on the from events and add the balance on the to events. We set group by to owner, the only unaggregated field, filter by the smart contract address label, and watch as MultiBaas quickly aggregates all the token balances. Event queries are also available via the API and SDK, and the query JSON in the UI can be useful for setting up or executing event queries programmatically. Cloud wallets are non-custodial wallets that are configured in third-party providers. When you compose a transaction via MultiBaas, where the from address is a cloud wallet, MultiBaas sends it to the cloud wallet provider for signing and then submits it to the blockchain. Options are available to automatically manage nonces in high-throughput situations, as well as speed up, cancel, and auto-resubmit transactions. At the moment, we support Azure Key Vault as a cloud wallet provider, but AWS, KMS, GCP, and more are coming soon. You need to have at least admin or operator permissions on the MultiBaas deployment in order to be able to sign and submit transactions. To use one of the MultiBaas SDKs or to interface with the REST API, configure an API key. API keys for use in backend applications can be configured with read or write permissions of varying levels of authorization. Front-end applications should only be configured with DApp user API keys, which provides limited read access and the ability to compose transactions, and are suitable for embedding in front-end code that is exposed directly to the user's web browser or mobile device. You can also configure CORS origins for building front-end applications directly on top of MultiBaas, add new users, and configure groups. Webhooks can be configured to receive an HTTP callback when a cloud wallet transaction is included or when an event is emitted from a linked smart contract. Enter your webhook endpoint, label it, and that's it. We're using webhook.site to test our webhooks. The next time we send a transaction via MultiBaas, we'll be notified on our webhook with all the fields decoded as expected. The MultiBaas UI supports signing and submitting Multi-sig Safe Wallet transactions. The transactions are intelligently composed by the MultiBaas UI and once signed, submitted to the Safe Wallet service, where they can be confirmed on the Safe Wallet dashboard. In this example, we're going to initiate a balance transfer of tokens from the Safe Wallet to another wallet. We have previously set up the cloud wallet as a signer on the Safe Wallet, and we'll use that to sign the transaction. Another signer can then go to the Safe Wallet dashboard to also approve the transaction. We hope you have enjoyed learning about MultiBaas. We have plenty more information available on our documentation site, and our team is always available to answer any questions. Happy hacking and building!